Hi everyone, hope everyone is doing great. Today I'm gonna share some tips and tricks with regards to Inventor part environment with you guys. So most of us who are using Inventor for years, we know that there is a very weird behavior that we experience with Inventor part when we're gonna start a design and start a new sketch. So typically what happens is you start a part and you want to start with a sketch. So you go on one of these planes, and let's say on XZ plane, you want to start a sketch on this plane. And you notice what just happened? Everything turned upside down. So now your top view is showing reverse, and your z-axis and x-axis. Z-axis is positive and x-axis is actually towards negative direction. So if you're not careful, or you didn't notice this and you start modeling your part, you end up maybe doing it the wrong way. So every time you want to use that part, either you have to rotate it or you have to do it all again. So every time you're trying to start a new sketch, you have to watch this and you have to go and say, hey, this is the correct orientation of the top, and then you start sketching. So this could be very, very confusing, specifically when you're actually focusing on a design. So finish this sketch and I'll start another one. And let's say now you're gonna sketch something on a right view. Let's happen again. Now your right is rotated, this time 90 degrees. So now you have to actually turn it back and start sketching. So with this, the issue is, let's say I'm sketching something like that, and for some reason I didn't really pay attention to this. I wanted this line to be horizontal, so obviously I go here to my constraint and say horizontal, and I pick that horizontal and it works fine. But now if you are actually in the right way of looking at this, your horizontal tool now is vertical, which is very weird, because this is how your right should be seen as right. And so it could be very confusing at times when you're doing the sketch. So, and the same goes with other views as well. So let's just delete this, for instance, and then go do another one on the front view. So front view obviously works fine. So the front view is the only one that works okay. And if you notice that X is in a positive direction and Y is in a positive direction. So how can we fix this issue? Now, today I'm going to show you a little trick that you can use easily to make a new template and never deal with this issue and just start right into your sketch when you want to start modeling a part. So first thing I need to actually walk you through is the application options. So we go to this application option under display area. There is a section that's called look at behavior. What I want you to do is to make sure that you are on this option. So you selected this align with local coordinate system. Instead of perform minimum rotation, make sure that this is aligned with local coordinate system. So that's number one thing that you need to consider. Okay, that's very important. And we don't want to come up with a solution that changes the way that the coordinate system is, because that potentially will lead into troubles with your old parts and the new parts. And then if you're exchanging data between other designers or with other teams, then they might have actually different type of coordinate system. So we want to stay consistent. So this is not going to change anything with that regard. So just make sure that this look at behavior is aligned with local coordinate system. Okay. Once this is done, and you can close this, and then what I want you to do is, and imagine that this is like a template. So you go in your template and you start a new sketch, and let's say on top view. Let this be. Okay. So I finish a sketch, and now you have this sketch 11, which every time you go and double click on it to edit it, this rotation happens. I want to fix this. So the way we fix this, you right click on this and say edit coordinate system. So when we do edit coordinate system, we're going to go and look at this. What we want to do, we want to make sure that the X and Y, now one thing I want everybody to notice is, you notice that this is an X and Y. In 2D sketch is always X and Y. This is your global coordinate system that is X and Z, and then Y is perpendicular to the screen. So this is X and Y, and the reason that it's actually rotating the view is because both of them are pointing to negative direction when you are actually looking at the top view the way it should be. That's why by default the software wants to turn it this way. X pointing toward positive direction and Y is pointing towards positive direction. What we want to do, we want to flip those axes. So first thing you do, after you right click on the sketch 11 or there's a sketch new sketch, and then you go with edit coordinate system, you select the axis that you want to flip. And then since there is nothing here in this model, you're going to expand this origin and you're going to go onto X axis and click on it. And what it does, it would flip this x-axis to align it with your origin x-axis, because your original x-axis is actually pointing towards the right direction. With that, your y is all automatically flipped into the right direction as well, so you don't need to do anything, and you hit OK. Now let's say I go back to my default view and I double click on this sketch 11. Now it doesn't rotate on me and everything works perfectly fine. So if this is a template of the part, what I can do, I can come in and rename that sketch 11 to top. This is already what I've done to save time. So I have top, front, and right as part of my template, and I save it. So every time you start a new part, either from this quick access menu, or you go through new from here and you start a new part, this is going to refer to that template if the template is set up properly. So what you do, you start a new part, and this already has top, front, and right. So it has 3 sketches for top view, front view, and right view, and ready to go. So if I want to start a new sketch, even if I have the habit of clicking on start a 2D sketch, I can still come and select, instead of selecting any of these plane, I can come and select the top. And what this does, it's going to take me to that sketch. Or instead of doing that, I just go right ahead and double click on that top, and there you go. Now I can start drawing things correctly. Horizontal is horizontal, vertical is vertical, everything is done properly. So if I want to make anything vertical, to see that that's vertical, that's horizontal, and everything behaves properly. Same way with front. So the indication of this is, if you click on any of them, you should see this view cube showing you the right way, the right direction. And this horizontal vertical tool should work properly, right? So that's the, a quick test that you could do. So, and any of these sketches, if you right click on the sketch itself and say edit coordinate system, what you want to see when you look at this view cube in the right way, when the text is shown in the right orientation, you want to see the X going in a positive direction, the Y is going in a positive direction. Over here, when you want to flip it, you got to look at which axis you need to align it with. So for instance, if I select X axis here and I select Z direction, it's going to align it with Z. Do it again, it's going to flip it, right? So don't necessarily look for the same axis that you see. A sketch in Inventor is always 2D, so you have X and Y. See which original or global axis you need to pick in order to flip it in the right direction and align it. All you want to do is to make sure that your XY local coordinate system in 2D sketches are pointing towards positive direction where the view cube is shown correctly. So hopefully that helps you guys with being more efficient and more productive. I know a lot of people have this issue and they're dealing with it for years, but this is a quick fix, and you can get right into sketching things without worrying about orientation of your part. Once again, I hope this provided some value. I'm going to share my contact info at the end of this video. Feel free to reach us out, and looking forward to providing for more content for you guys. Thank you.